Thanks for clicking on the video. Like, subscribe, and share if you find this useful or interesting. Okay, we're going to keep going right from where we were last time. So last time we did this, the entire point of which was to create this combined curve polygon so that we could create a full 3D curve and put that into our object by remapping this edge. Okay, so we're gonna do it 7 more times. I'm gonna work faster in a pretty methodical manner. I'm going to turn on my layouts. I'm going to hide everything except the first object. And now I'm going to do all of these in a row. So the way we did this one is going to be exactly the same for this point here, and this point here. Then in order to get the y-axis pointed the right way up top here, we'll do it slightly differently. Let's do this one. I want from this point, I want to select this point as my origin reference. I will be running straight to this point here as my x-axis reference. And my last reference, which is the vague y direction, is going to be this guy right here. I get my new object, set it to size 300. And as I pointed last time, FreeCAD has decided to swap my x and my y reference. It's exactly for that I have this option here to swap them back. And here we go. This one is ready to go. Let's move on to the next one, and I'll do bottom, then top, bottom, then top. Then when we come here, I'll also do bottom, then top, bottom, then top. So bottom, origin reference, x-axis reference, y-axis reference. Create the object. First, set the size to 300. It has its x-axis pointed in the wrong direction. So I swap x, y. One more. This origin reference, this exact x direction, vaguely using this as the y direction. Select this object, make it big so it's visible, set swap xy to true. There we go. So this will be my 4 basically top views to set the edge over here. Now let's do the same thing, but up on this edge over here. So I select this point as my origin reference. This is my exact x reference. But now I don't have anything over here that actually is in the y direction I want. So I'm forced to use this point over here as my y reference. Right here, pick this point. Okay. Create the object. Make it big. First thing to address is that it has flipped the y. FreeCAD has decided to flip the x and the y. This is why I have this option right here. I set it to true. But now, let me hide all those previous ones. Now, because I had to pick a y reference on this side, I have this y reference. This object has the y reference right here. So if I edit the sketch, I would be upside down. I don't want that. I don't want to swap x, y here because x is pointed just the way I want. What I do is I'm going to flip the y right here. Okay, so origin here, x right here, y right here. FreeCAD scrambled them, so I swap. Then I have the y pointed in the y direction, so I flip the y. That's what I do. And now I'm going to do it again. Oh, actually, I should have done this on the bottom. Let me just redo that. Remember, because we do first the bottom, then the top. The bottom, then the top. Okay, just do it again. Origin reference, x reference, y reference. I missed one. Right here, this point, You know what? Here's what I forgot something I was supposed to do. To make this selection process easier, let's make these points much bigger. Point size 4. They don't look much bigger. Come on, FreeCAD. What if I make it 6? Okay, 6. Okay, 6 is bigger. All right. So now when I highlight, I'm going to see it better. This one here as the origin reference. This one as the exact X reference. I wish I had a point over here, but I don't. I do have this one though. Create the object, pick that object, make it big. I know that FreeCAD flipped my references, so I fixed that. Now I have my long line pointed towards the X. I have my Y pointed in the wrong direction, so I just flip that. Okay, again on top. Origin reference, X reference, X reference, Y reference. Take the object I just created, swap XY, flip Y, size 300. And it's doing what I want. 2 more. X reference, origin reference, exact X reference, Y reference, create the object, make it big. The X-axis is pointing at the wrong reference, so I swap. The Y-axis is pointing in the opposite way that I want. I flip the Y. 1 more. Origin reference, exact X-axis reference, Y reference, create the object, select it, size 300. The X-axis is pointing towards the wrong reference, so I swap the references. Now I have the correct X-axis, but the Y is the wrong Y, so I flip the Y. Okay, these are all my top view reference frames for the sketches that will control the outline from the top, more or less from the top view. Okay, let's stay on the topic of poses and just knock out all of these guys. How do these guys work? We don't swap XY. We will flip the X. We will choose YZ as the reference axis. But the main thing is that when you want to create this thing in the first place, we pick the origin on the layouts, but then we use the directions on, we need to do these one at a time. So to create this one, I chose the reference point, and then I chose the Y-axis of the red sketch, and then the X-axis of the red sketch, and then I set these options. Let me hide this, and then we'll do it. This will still be the origin, but now I'm going to start with the X this way, and I put the Y this way. I create the object. Collapse something here. Okay, size 300. I've never seen that section collapse, but it's neat. I guess you double click. Okay, great. Set this one. I don't swap. I flip X. I choose YZ. And that has made it like this one. Change the color. This guy for the lines. This guy for the points. Okay, that one's taken care of. Now I'm going to go to the next one right here. The origin. Then I pick the X and Y from the red one, but in reverse. First this one, then this one. Create the object. Select it. Right off the bat, I'm going to do its color. Now I normally would do the colors all at the same time last, but so that to make it easier to follow, I'm doing them one at a time. This would normally be a batch operation. Okay, so I see that I have basically duplicated this object, but by selecting this point and this point in reverse order, it's flipped. That's what I want. Flip the X, I choose YZ, and so now I have matching X-axis, but the Y-axis points up. Okay. I'm going to hide both of these, and now I'm going to work off of the top one. Origin, axes in reverse. Create the object. Size 300. Change the colors so you guys can tell them apart. Back to data, flip X, and final relative axes YZ. It's up there. I'm going to turn this back on, turn this back on. As you can see, I have they're all on top of each other, but I hope you can see that they are all consistent. I'm building the same structure. At every point, I want one of these red sketches and one of these green sketches. And they all point towards the next section. Okay, so top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom here. I'm going to hide this guy. Go. Origin on the layout. Select axes in reverse. Create the object, select the object, increase the size, change the colors, and then set the actual configuration option, which is flip X. And then based on what you see here, now I'm going to choose the YZ of what we see right now. And that gives me the one I want. I'm going to do the upper one, so I'm going to hide these two lower ones here. I want this, and I want this origin. Swap the axes reference, create the object, select this object, size 300, swap the colors. Remember, I would normally be doing some of these operations on all objects at once, but I want to, the value of me doing this in a repetitive manner here is you see it happen a couple of times. I swap the x-axis, I choose the YZ final relative axis, done on this side. Over to this side, I want to work on the bottom first. Pick this as my origin reference, pick the axes in reverse, create the object, resize the object, swap the colors, set the configuration, which is flip X, Y, Z, and I got the orientation that I want. I have one more to do. Let me hide these guys on the lower portion. Okay, I want this origin, axes and axis reference in reverse. Create the object. Change the size. Change colors. Flip the X. Choose YZ. And that's what I want. So now I'm going to turn everything back on. From the top view, I have one of these red reference frames at each corner of these two layouts, and each of them points exactly towards the corresponding point on the next layout, and they're basically in the XY plane, but they actually follow the direction from layout to layout. And you can see that here. The reds follow exactly from layout to layout. And then the green ones are basically the same as the red one, but rotated so that the Y points upward. Okay, So I have all of these. I'm going to start making curves. And let's see, I already did the ones above, so I just start right here. I'm just going to make all the sketches on all of these in order. Create sketch, objects XY. I'm going to hide all the ones I don't need right now. I don't need these, but I actually do want to look at this sketch. So I'm going to be working on this upper one. See, I already did the lower one. I'm going to work on this one. That's this sketch right here. The X reference is right here. I'm going to draw my 3-line sketch. Connect these points. Connect these points. Go back in sketch view. Stick this more or less over here. Basically, I'm kind of copying the bottom sketch more or less. I'm just getting it close. And then when I'm here and I create my constraint block with KX, you can see like, oh, I know, now I remember the values I had down here. It was 80 and negative 80 for this one. See, it's going to be a little bit inset. I just remember that from the last video that I had 80 and negative 80. But what did I have for this one? KL to create the constraint lock. It's like, oh, 401. I bet you that's 400. And then this one here, minus 115. I think it was minus 110. They don't have to be exactly the same, but right now I have no reason to make them different. So I've put the same dimensions from this end, but the fact that they are actually on slightly different planes and they point at slightly different things means that they end up slightly different, and that's fine. Let's take a look and see if these values were correct. Sure, 80, 80, 400. Oh, minus 120. Okay, you know what? I'll match it. Minus 120. They are individual. The upper rail and the lower rail are individually controllable, but right now I have no reason to make them different. Okay. What's the next one I need to work on? It's this one. So I pick this one, put a sketch on it, object XY. I don't need to hide the other stuff. What I need to import into here, make reference geometry to, is just this point right here. So I have it, and I always have my origin. This is why I easily just draw 3 lines anywhere to try to avoid these automatic constraints. And then the way I connect them is I just window select these 2 points because I have nothing else in my sketch. And when I window select here, I'm automatically going to get the origin and the end of this point, and then I just type C. Let's get into sketch orientation here, and remember how I had long, shorter, shorter? We kind of want the same thing for this one. Long, shorter, short. But let's see. To figure out where to set the height, say like, I can have this I could have it be completely horizontal, but if anything, it should be slightly above. So these are some very generic dimensions I have for this. Remember how here I had the dimension set from here, so I could just constrain lock directly on the point? I can do something equivalent here if I choose this endpoint first, and then this one second, and I do control lock. I get the equivalent, except I'm not even using the origin. So here I'm going to do minus 80. Minus 80. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to select. Start by selecting just the origin. It's a little bit tricky. Okay, that's just the origin. Then I select this point, KL. I got it, but it did the thing where it creates a ton of them. So I'm just going to delete the extras, and now it's fine. I get back in my top view. And now here, what did I do last time? I think I went minus 400. And on the other side, it was 120, minus 120. It looks a little bit different on this side because this section is smaller than that section. So I'm going to compensate for that right now by simply increasing this one. Instead of minus 120, I'm going to do minus 150. It's still above horizontal. Slightly above horizontal, right? So these two curves are going to form a slight corner right here, and that's what I'm going to blend away. Aside from that, I'm more or less okay with this. We'll come back and tweak this once we have all the sketches. Close, so it's, what am I doing in the front? 80, 80, 150, 400. Okay, that's fine. So I got this one. What's the next one? It's up here. So take this guy, create a sketch, object XY, import the point that I want. That's exactly on the y-axis. On the x-axis. Oh, I got it right here. Then, actually, I'm going to hide the last one because it's kind of in my way. 3 lines, nice and random. Window select the reference and this point, coincident. Window select the origin and this point, coincident. Get myself in top view. Turn that previous sketch back on so I can see kind of what I did. Drag things so that the top rail looks a lot like the bottom rail. And now I select this point and then this point, KL. It creates doubles, but I don't care. I just delete the extras. This is worth it for me. This is going to be a stable sketch that's dimensioned just like the other ones at the other end. Minus 80. Minus 80. And then this point, I'm going to do it again. Window select just that point. What's it doing? Window select just this point, KL. Created a bunch of extras, don't care, delete them, and then it's back to good. Right here, what did I say? Minus 150. That's what I did on the bottom. And then here, minus 400. Okay, let's look at it again in top view. Yeah, I have a good relationship between the bottom rails and the top rails, and I did it by using the same dimensions in slightly different planes with slightly different references, but I end up with all curves that are very well related to each other. Close. This is fine. And then I move on to the next one. The next one is this guy on the bottom. Sketch, XY. Okay. Right here. Import this point. Vague 3-line sketch. Window select, coincident. Window select, coincident. Now I'm going to put myself in top view and just manually make it look like this one right here. The one that's actually showing up as a control polygon. So I don't know why it's doing that. I want to just move the point. Okay. Make it look vaguely similar. And then on this side, I actually have this point at the origin. That's where I want to measure things relative from. So just select the point, KL for constraint lock, 80, 80. That's a match to what I have on the bottom. Select this guy, KL for control lock, 400. And I think it was 120. Yep. Close. Next one. It's the guy right above. Sketch, objects XY, right here. Import just this reference geometry. A vague 3-line. Window select, coincident. Window select, coincident. Keeping the sketches simple makes this possible. Right? If I had too much reference, too much stuff, it would be a pain to find the origin and to find these things all the time, especially because FreeCAD makes it really difficult to exactly click on a point and have it assign the correct reference. I vaguely align this poly. See, why does it do that? It's because it's had the line selected. I just want the point. I don't want the line. Okay, but I get it close by hand, and now that I'm close by hand, when I do KL for constraint lock, the numbers are almost exactly what I want. And since I always change things to simple round numbers, it's easy for me to actually assign the correct numbers. It says 418. It's 400. It says 148. No, it's 120. Let's look at it again from the top. Yeah, it looks like the bottom. I'm using almost exactly the same sketches, the same numbers in the sketches, and everything else adapts to the fact that the planes are slightly different and the endpoints are slightly different. Moving on. This guy. Attach a sketch. Go to here. I don't have to hide anything because all I'm going to use here is the origin. I already have it in the sketch. All I need to import is this point right here. A vague 3-line, box, coincident, box, coincident. Go into top view, drag it to look vaguely like what I have on the bottom. But remember, to have the dimensioning scheme be the same in front and back, I need to first select that point at the end here, then this point, and now I can KL constraint lock in between these two. It creates extra stuff. I don't care. I delete them. Here, minus 80. Here, 80. Pretty sure that's what I did on this side. Yeah. And then here, take this guy. Again, okay, I have to, again, make sure that I select this point as the first reference. Then this guy, KL for constraint lock. It creates extras. I don't care. I delete them. Now I have a valid sketch right here, minus 400. And here, 150. You could open the other sketches and check them, but that's what I remember. And it doesn't look like it, but this is actually a vertical line right here between these two. This angled line makes you think that, oh, it's twisted, but no, this is a vertical line. Put a ruler on it if you want. When I'm in top view, everything is set. And I can work right here in this sketch, and I can see exactly how this sketch works. And that's nice because that's exactly the reference that I want, and it's more or less aligned to top. And I can just very quickly switch between the two. I find this a very meaningful setup. Okay, moving on. Next one. That's going to be the last of the horizontal sketches. Boom, objects XY. Import just this point right here. Boom, got it. A vague 3-line sketch. But I need to get this a little bit closer so I can get it coincident right here. Coincident. Window select, coincident. Just drag this to be vaguely the same as the one below. And then first select this point. That's going to be my reference for absolute dimensions. Then this guy. KL. I created a bunch of double constraints. I don't care. I really want my absolute dimensions that bad that I don't care. I'm just so happy that it's even possible to do this that I don't care about deleting the extras. I don't want dimensions that flip around. You saw what happens on my section layouts because I don't have the ability to do absolute constraints on those. They flip around all the time on me. It's not a big deal once you have your model in its final position, but man, it's a pain. This is just gold. Delete the extras. The model is perfectly constrained. And here, minus 400. 150. Okay. So now we have all of those. What do we actually want? We want to create these vertical sketches. We want to create the sketches that have curvature in this direction. So I turn on this guy. That's the plane that I'm going to create the next sketch, the next sketch in. So I pick this guy, create the sketch. There's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff all over the place. Let's be really careful. Right now, seeing the sketches is helpful, but I need to make sure of something first. First, I need to make sure that I get my reference to the end of the line here from the layout, not from something else, not from one of these other sketches. That's why I hit everything. I got it. Okay. Now I can turn this back on, and I'm actually going to import this as a reference. Now I can turn this off. And so I want to draw a 3-line sketch, basically like this bottom one. Just going to do it down here for now, just so I can draw my 3 lines in piece. Then I'm going to snap these two. Then I'm going to snap these two. Now I'm going to create my reference lines for the verticals. See, it's not letting me click on the point. See this right here, that did not connect properly. So I'm going to move it, and I'm going to do the box selection. This one is correct. Okay, and then here, box selection on these two, box selection on these two, this guy. Parallel to the y-axis. This guy, created vertical, didn't want that. I want it parallel to the y-axis. I'm going to put myself in the right view and just drag myself so that these points, so that the two curves here are vaguely similar. One thing is I don't need to be seeing, see, I'm seeing a curve in the back here that I didn't really want to look at. This right here is, oh, it's this original sketch here. Okay, this is all I want to look at right now. I want to see the vertical that I already made below. I want to see my new sketch, and I've already got the references to the sketch up top. Okay, I just want to make this sketch be vaguely like this one. So here, I'm starting the line over here, so it's fine. I don't have to select the origin. I can select just this point, KL. But now I have to delete the horizontal. I just have this one. It says minus 25 point something. I'm going to say it's minus 25. Then this point right here, KL, delete the horizontal. It says minus 40 something. I'm going to say minus 40. What's it doing? It really screwed something up. Oh, did I delete a line at some point? Yeah, I deleted a line. I deleted the line when I was trying to delete this horizontal constraint. So now it's back to normal, it's fine. And here this, I'm gonna say minus 40. Okay. So it vaguely follows this guy right here. But actually, I already know that I don't want it to be super thin in the back. The bottom has a lot of curvature and the top is a little bit flatter. So right off the bat, I'm going to say this is minus 30. All right, we'll come back and edit that later. So it's this guy. All right, so I look at it from the right side. Okay, this is my curvature towards the tail. It's too much curvature, but that's okay. We'll come back later and fix that so it's more reasonable. So I have this one. So what's the next one? The next one is this guy. It's on the bottom, and I'll be more or less copying this guy, but it's gonna be in the way. What I do want is this sketch, because I'm going to be importing from this sketch. Okay, so I'm on this silk pose, create the sketch, objects XY, right here. Let's import the endpoint. Ooh, I have to hide this sketch for a second. It was sketch 68. I want to import this endpoint, turn sketch 68 back on, and import its middle line. Now I don't need to look at it. I'm in this view, and I'm going to draw my 3 lines. Ugh. I have to select this first, and then I can switch out of construction mode. Box select coincident here, box select coincident here. Put myself back in the right view, or even a little bit over here. Line, construction, this point, this point, this point. Oh, it's too hard. It doesn't want to click. I'll just box select. Now I set it parallel, parallel. Get myself back in the right view. Let's turn on the previous sketches here until I find the one. Oh, it's not these guys. It's above. It's from the one. It's from the ones we did in the last set, and it was just the second one. Okay. So when I'm looking at this in the right view, I want this sketch to be more or less like this other one. I have my reference at the origin, so I can just, still tricky to pick this point, but I can KL, delete the redundant constraints. Oop, it did a strange thing. It's because there's 2 lines on here. Let me just pick it by itself. KL, delete the horizontal dimension, and this time it's fine. This is minus 25. And then here, just this point by itself, KL, delete the horizontal, just this guy, minus 40. I guess minus 40 was not right. This is worth me going back to this first sketch here right now and saying, what was the actual value that I used? Minus 30. It's minus 25 and minus 30. Okay, let's fix the last couple sketches. So I go here, but that one's fine. Just go here, minus 30. Yeah, I had already edited that, minus 30, and then this guy here, minus 30 instead of minus 40. And see, in this view, they don't look the same, but when I go to the right view, they look exactly the same. That's what's happening with these things. The planes are different, they're aligned to different things, but I'm modeling in a way that in my right view, everything is aligned. Close, move on to the next coordinate system right here. Okay, I'm right in this guy. Okay, I'm going to be using, what's going to be my reference this time? I don't need this. I don't need the bottom that I just made. I want to refer to this guy. The sketch that I make right now should look like this one in this view. I have to activate the tool first, and then it lets me switch out of construction mode. Make my vague 3-point line. Oh, you know what? I forgot to import my point, so let me do that. It's this guy up here. Okay, got it. Back in the right view, box select, coincident. Box select, coincident. Before I adjust these points, I actually need to import the middle line. Not from, yeah, I need to import the middle line, but it's not from this sketch. It's from this one. So, import, come on, gimme, this guy. Wait, no, that's the wrong one, that's the lower one. I'm on the upper one. So, this guy, yes. Hide all these guys. I want to import this line. Now I don't need to look at this sketch anymore. So make sure you find this point, start the line, construction, find this point, clip it. We're going to clip it down below, one more line. Let's give it a shot. Will it let me connect? Yes, it let me connect. Okay. Go back to the right view. Box select these two, coincident. Box select these two, coincident. This guy, y-axis, parallel. Y-axis, this guy, parallel. And now I just drag this up to more or less look like the other one. Now that I've got it more or less in position, I'm just going to hide the first one. And right here, I select this point, KL for constraint lock. I don't need the horizontal. I don't need the horizontal one. And this right here, what is this? Minus 25. Then this guy, KL. Delete the horizontal. Edit this guy, minus 30. Done. Let's take a quick look. How much have I done? How much do I still need to do? I need 4 more of these vertical lines. Let's keep going. So all of these are done. All the ones in the back are done, basically. So what's next? This guy. So I have 4 more. I have 4 more of these sketches to do because I already have everything to put them into position. Objects XY, get it on here. Import the references. I want this line, but now that I have this line, I don't want to look at its sketch anymore. Because I need to grab this endpoint. Get in the right view, start the line tool, turn off construction, 3 vague lines, this point, and this point, coincident, origin, and the first point, coincident, line, construction. It's just too much of a pain to try to click on it. I'm just going to draw the lines in here and then box select to connect them. It's a pain, but I'm glad at least there is a way that works. This guy here, parallel. This guy here, parallel. I don't have it. This is my first curve I'm making in the front, so I don't have anything to refer to. This is the time I'm going to be setting the vague height of these points. So this one I'm going to have vaguely horizontal, just a hair above horizontal. And this here, this is my nose curve. And I want my nose curve to be fairly pronounced, right? I want it to go up sharply. So it goes long, shorter, short, and it goes flat, a little bit up, a lot up. That's going to make this curve, that's going to make the nose go up really sharp. The backside will be very soft curve. Although it accelerates, it'll be a soft acceleration. The front will be a really hard acceleration. So I basically like these values. But like last time, I'm going to say that they're in reference to the front. That way this will allow me to compare the way I'm dimensioning the tail to the way I'm dimensioning the nose. You could create absolute dimensions from here to the origin, but I like the idea that I have a scheme front to back. The way I dimension the tail, the way I curve the tail, is the same scheme as the way I curve the nose. So first I select this point, then I select this one, KL for constraint lock. It didn't make doubles, but I still don't need the horizontal one. So I delete that one. And then here, minus 74, no, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go minus 80. Like, really curve up. And then this guy here, I can't go too far from where it is. I don't want it to go down. So, first I select this point here. No, I'm gonna click away, box select just this point. Then this guy, KL, how many did it create? I certainly don't need this 400. Don't need this 400, so it seems like there's two of these. I'm going to delete it, and now I'm good. So here, I have to be very close to whatever this value is, minus 86. I'm going to say minus 85, so I still have a round number. Okay, so it's still almost horizontal. These two curves are going to be almost aligned across the center, but with a slight angle, and then I'll blend that away. Because I don't want to waste energy trying to align these two. That's what the blend is for. I only want to control I want to use all these points for the character of the curve on this side. And close. Okay, what's the next one? The next one is the one right above. I select it. And let me find, okay, I select it, start the sketch. Right off the bat, I'm going to grab the endpoint. That's not what I wanted. I'm going to delete that. I don't want that much stuff in my sketch. I want just this point. Got it. Okay. I already have the curve below as a reference, but I also need a reference for the X position, and that comes from this curve. I found it like by luck. It's this curve. I need to import the midsections right here for my Z values. Okay, I got it. Now I can hide it so it's not in the way. While I'm at it, I'm going to... no, I'll leave everything else on. This is fine. Get back in my sketch view. Start the multi-line tool. Switch it back to switch off construction. Draw 3 vague lines. Select my endpoint reference in this guy. Coincident. Select the origin in this guy. Coincident. Select the line tool. Back to construction. Vague line. Vague line. Snap these two. Snap these two. Snap these two. Snap these two. This guy, parallel. This guy, parallel. And now I'm going to use my constraint lock, and I'm going to be matching this. Yeah, I'm going to be more or less matching this lower curve. Yeah, I really don't need to be seeing these other curves in the back. They are in the way. Okay, so here I am. I have this. I have synced to the horizontal curve, and now I just want to make it look kind of like the lower curve here. So then this is going to be my relative origin. Pick this point that I'm trying to dimension, type KL, and now I have absolute dimensions from the endpoint. I can't have a horizontal because that comes from the other sketch. And here I'm going to say minus 50. And then relative origin, point that I want to dimension, KL, delete the doubles, delete the horizontal, I'm good to go. Minus 60, maybe? Yeah, something like that. We'll come back and fix it. Even if there's an extra wobble, we'll come back and fix it later. Let's do a little bit more. Let's do minus 40. Minus 50. Yeah, see, I'm trying to get the deck to be flat, but I still want the distance between these two to continuously reduce as it goes towards the nose. So here this was minus 50, minus 40 maybe? Yeah, it's too thick, so minus 45. Well, still too much. Yeah, well, another thing is we'll need to rotate this section here at the end, and that'll help. Okay. Close. All right, so just a little bit of curve in the back towards the tail, and a lot of curve towards the nose. What's the next one? Two more. The next one is this one on the bottom. I will not need to be looking at this one. I won't need to look at this. I won't need to look at this. I will be referring to this, but also this. I'll be making a reference to this, although not right away. Remember, it's 70. Okay. Take this guy. Sketch. Okay. Reference to this point. I'm working in more or less in this plane. Start the multi-line. I don't want it to be construction. Vague 3 lines. Coincident to the endpoint. Coincident to the origin. I turn 70 back on. And I import the middle section. I turn 70 back off. Go to here. Line, construction. Vaguely where I want. Vaguely where I want. Window, coincident, window, coincident, window, coincident, window, coincident. This guy, parallel. This guy, parallel. Drag it similar to the one I'm looking at from the other side. And I'm working from the back end, so select the origin. It's not letting me select this point. Maybe this sketch might be in the way. Okay, so now that I've already copied it, now that I've already got things pretty close, I don't need to be looking at this. The endpoint as my relative origin. This point that I want to dimension, KL for what did it do? It did not. Did I? It is there. So okay, so I've got it selected. Pick. I've got it selected. It's tough to pick this point. Window select again. KL. Okay, this time it worked. Jeez, how many did it create? Just delete all the extras. I can't have the horizontal. I just want this one. Minus 80. Is that right? Okay, let's just do the other one real quick. This window select this point. Window select it. No. Make sure that I get this one first. Window select this point. Window select this point. KL. I don't want all these zeros. And I don't want the 400. And I don't want the 400. And I only want one of these. Okay. I think this one is minus 85. Okay, real quick. Let's turn on these other ones. Yeah, that looks good. 80 and 85 gives me a good match on these guys. So now I only have one left, and it needs to match this one. So I'm going to hide the two lower ones. I will be looking at this one to make it match, but I will also want 71. 71 is when I'm going to pull this line as a reference, but not right away. So hide this guy. This is the last one. Sketch XY. Import this point. Vague 3 lines. Snap the beginning to the origin. Snap the end to the point we already imported. Turn on 7. Turn on. No, don't turn on 75. What was it? 71? Yeah, it was 71. Turn on 71. Import this line. Hide 71 again. And also, don't need this, don't need that. The only thing I really want a reference to right now is this guy, because I'm going to make this look like that. First, I need to get some lines, geometry. Get rid of that coincident constraint. Grab these 2 points, coincident. 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 This guy, parallel. This guy, parallel. Okay. Now, these sketches don't look anything alike. That's because they're in separate planes. It's only when I look in the right side view, that I can make them look the same. So I drag it pretty close. I'm happy with that. Now I can hide 76. Select this point as a relative origin. Select this point, KL. Delete the zeros. Delete the doubles. Delete the horizontal dimension. And this guy here, minus 45 point something, it's minus 45. See, if it would just let me click on the point, I wouldn't have to do the window selection. But you know what? In the end, it's less painful to do the window selection and delete all the junk than it is to try to hide everything just so that it'll give me what I want. I want this 50. I don't want this negative 400 and this 50 something. It's just plain negative 50. Okay. Turn on everything. From the top, it looks good. I'm looking at the curved ones. I'm not looking at the ones in straight lines right now. The ones that look straight. I'm only looking at these two, and I see a good pair right here for the lower rail and the upper rail. A good pair for the lower rail and the upper rail. Lower rail, upper rail, lower rail, upper rail. Okay, that looks fine. And then when I look at it from the side view, I ignore the straights. I'm not looking at this, and I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at this 3 lines right here and this 3 lines. This looks okay. Here it's a little bit confusing because what I need to ignore is I need to ignore this and this, and I'm just looking at these 3. These all look fine for now. You have to consider them in pairs. All right, so now I've created all the sketches. I'm going to create all control polygons. That correspond to the individuals. Now, I don't need to look at the sketches anymore, but I will turn on this control polygon right here. Let's see, okay, now I can turn on this one also as well on the bottom, and I can turn on the combined one. So these 3 are taken care of. There's the horizontal one, there's the vertical one, and there's the combined one. So I'm just going to hide all of those. And now I'm going to select these in pairs. And I'm always going to do the one from the top view and then the one from the elevation. And I want to make sure that I select pairs that match. So top view, elevation, combine. And while I still have them selected, I'm going to hit spacebar. Then I go here. And I'm going to do them in the order they show up here. So first I'm going to select this one. Where is it? This guy. It's strange. It's not highlighting. Ah, yes, it is. So the next one I need to deal with, it's really weird. So check this out. I have to click here, and now I see it. If this is my horizontal, then its vertical is this one. I create it, I hide the inputs, and then I hide the one I just created. Then I go to this, I go to the next one that's not hidden, this one. That's a horizontal, its vertical is this. Create the combined polygon, hide the inputs, hide the new polygons. Go to the next one. See, immediately when I hit on it, it's kind of hidden because it's showing up as blue. But as soon as I move my mouse over, I can see it properly showing up as green. Okay, so it's this guy right here. That's a horizontal, and its vertical is this one. Hide the inputs, hide the combined. Next one is here. It's this guy. Its vertical is this one. Combine polygon, hide the inputs, hide the combined. I'm going to go ahead and hide this combined one as well. Then I'm over to this one. It's the one on the bottom. That's the horizontal profile. The vertical profile is right here. Combine, hide the inputs, hide the combined. Last one, this guy here, and its vertical is here because that's the last one. Combine, hide the inputs, hide the combined. Okay, so we have a solid chunk of stuff. We need to sort it. What do we have? We have top view poses, top view sketches, top view poses. Well, let's do it this way. We have poses, sketches, individual polygons, and combined polygons. Poses, sketches, individual polygons, combined polygons. We can do more sorting and give them better names later. Combined polys. Let's go back to the top. Poses, sketches, plane polys, and here I'm going to be a little bit more split. Combined 3D polys, and I'm going to sort them from the bottom. These are all the combined 3D polys. All of this is plane polys. All of this is sketches. All of this is poses. Oh, it didn't go on. All of this is poses. And now I'm back to the original. In the case of the original, I'm going to get them back towards the top. So for the original, I have this pose and this pose. I'm going to grab them. I'm going to put them right at the top of the list. So now here's all the poses that were involved in this nasty business. Then here are the sketches. First I have this sketch, then I have this sketch. I'm going to put them at the top of the sketch list. And here's all the sketches. Then for the plane polygons, I have this one, and I have this one from the last episode. And I'm going to put them at the top of this one. So here they are. Here are all the pairs. See that they meet at the corners. They're really tough to see on top of each other, but they are pairs, and for each one of them there's 2 separate planes. And finally, here's the combined polygons. Oop, looks like I put in one too many in here. Where did the very first combined polygon go? It would have number 0. What happened to it? Oh, it's right here. I never moved it. This one goes to the top of the list. So now I can turn them all on and off. And I know this has been going for a long time, but we have to finish. We're going to take this, and I'm not going to do any more sorting. I'm just going to go into here, and I'm going to snap all of this to the new curves. This curve. So I'm going to follow in order. I want to do this one. What curve and what faces should it control? It should control this curve and the 2 faces right down below. So I'm going to select this curve, and this curve tells me, oh, I've already done this one in the last episode, so I don't need to do this one. This guy here, what does it control? It controls this curve. So I go down the list. I already did this one last episode, so I just do this one. This one, it should go to this curve. That means I'm going to replace control poly 22. I got to remember that, 022. And I just click this. Okay, the curve snapped. But I already know that I am going to need to reverse it. But I'll do that last. Right now, what I want to focus on is the grids. I don't want to forget that 22 business. So I go here. I just did, which are the 2 grids? There's this side grid. Does it have a 22? It sure does. Instead of 22, I want you to go to the new one. Okay, the side face is adjusted. So I hide its grid. I go to the next grid. I'm replacing 22 with this one. Okay, this is taken care of. I'm going to, so I just did one. We now have one side fully converted. Let's work them in the order they come. And then we'll fix all the reversal issues. Actually, no, I should fix the reversal issue right now. This guy is giving me errors. All I have to do is on this poly, hit reverse. Wait, no, not this one. This one here should still be, that's the first one we did, should still be true. It's this new one here that is not true yet. I also want that to be true. And sure enough, all the errors are gone. Let me close all of this real quick and turn on the view sets. Yep, it did update. Now you can see that top and bottom on this side have a full curve for this quarter. Let's do it again. We did this one, we did that one. Now we hide it. We go to the next one. It's this bottom one. So it's going to be this bottom curve. That means we're going to be replacing 17. You need to remember 17. Go in here, swap it with this lower one. Okay. This curve adjusted. I need to go to the grids. Adjust this grid, 17. That's what I'm replacing on the low side. Boom. This grid is good. Hide the grid. This face is separated. Find its grid, 17. Make sure you click the right one. It's the lower one when looking at it correctly from the top. It's this guy. Okay, this one's good to go. But it's giving me errors. And again, if it's giving me errors, that means that I should have the polygon reversed. Set that to true. All the errors are gone. Let's go ahead and do the upper one. No, we're going to do them in order. Close this. Might as well do a QC test. Turn on the view sets. Yeah, sure enough, this curve has updated, and now everything, including the blends, works. So this curve is done. This polygon is done. I hide it. Wait, I just want this polygon. I just want to hide this polygon itself. Hide the grids. What's next is this guy. This guy controls this curve. So what I'm replacing is 18 with this. Did the curve. Let's do the grids. First the side grid. 18 right here. Replace with the new polygon. This one updated, so the side face is good. Hide its grid so I can see the polygon. What I need to adjust is this guy. I'm adjusting 18. Snap to the new one. Okay, and we have one full side. Oh, I still see errors. So I go right here and I say reverse. No more errors. Turn on the view sets. I have one side fully done. One side has all four curves swapped in, and now I have a true curve from front to back. I know it's been going on for a while, but I'm going to finish it so that we have a model where all this work has been done, ready to go next time. Turn off the view sets. What's the next one? I should only have 8 in here. Is that correct? Oh yeah, this is the one. This is the one I just did right here. I'm going to verify that by turning off all the grids. And sure enough, this one I did is this guy. I can turn it off. Okay. Next one I want is this guy. That's the lower edge on this curve. This curve right here. So it's polygon 20. We're going to be swapping 20. This guy. Replace with this. The curve is updated. Turn on the control grids. This guy. Replace 20. It's the bottom one. The grid has updated. But now I want to hide this grid so I can see this clearly, because now I need to adjust the underside face, and I'm swapping 20, I'm swapping it with the lower one. Both sides are good, but I'm still getting errors. That means this poly is backwards compared to what the cutting points expect. So this set reverse to true. The errors are gone. Close everything. Check the view sets. Yep, this lower edge has adjusted. Turn off the view sets. Turn off the grids. This guy is done. What's the next one? This guy. It's this curve. So what I need to swap out is 23. I swap it out with the new polygon. The curve is done. To the control grids. The top one, 23, replace with this. The top is good, but I also have to do the side grid. The side grid, 23. Ooh, I forgot to turn off the grid. I'm going to cancel, because this is on top of my control polygon, so I hide it. This guy here, 23. This guy. It updated. There's errors. I just need to reverse the poly. And make sure that that's actually true and that everything worked. Yep. Okay, guys, we have the back. We have the back side. Look at my tail. Look at my curve. We just have 2 more curves to do. 2 more curves to swap. We're almost there. Look at that. Or you could stop and make a knife. Up to you. This guy. I just did it. It's this guy over here. Next one. It's the bottom one on here. Hide the grids. Identify the curve. It's going to be control poly 016 that we're swapping. The one on the bottom. The curve is adjusted. Turn on the grids. And you decide it's 16 that I'm swapping for the bottom. Okay. Hide that grid. Go to the bottom face. Swap out 16. Which one? The bottom one. I still have errors. Go to here. Reverse. True. Errors are gone, but don't trust it. Check the view set. Yep. I have the bottom edge. I have my full outline. With my bottom rail, I just need to fix my top rail. So now I can hide this guy. Hide all the grids. Click this curve. Identify that the last thing I need to swap out is 19. Swap it into curve. Curve is swapped. Turn on the grids. Let's do the side grid first for once. Side grid, 19. This guy. Side face is fixed. Hide the grid. Last grid, 19. Click this poly. We still have errors. We need to reverse the polygon. And are we done? Are we done? Please God, are we done? Hide this. Okay, I think we might be done. Let's look at just the primary surfaces. Like when my view sets. I don't want to look at the final surfaces. I don't want to look right here. I just want to, I'm going to hide all this business with the layout. I just want to look at my primary surfaces and my primary curves. From the top view, I now have curvature everywhere from the top view. And if I look from the right view, I have curvature everywhere here. Now, obviously, we need to come back and give some love to these curves. And maybe we need to reduce the center thickness here, right? Because it's really bulging in the middle. Actually, we can probably fix most of the problem just by reducing the size in the middle. But we'll need to work all these things together. Now we have what we need. We have section layouts and control sketches on them to control the profile on the cuts. And we have a top view to control the outline. And as the last thing, we have these sketches that, although we can only adjust points vertically, that will still allow us to home in our foil. And yeah, it was a pain in the ass to swap out everything, but still easier than rebuilding the topology. So that's why I gave you something that's reusable. I would just build this directly. I would directly build this layout, and then I would directly build these things, and I would have the right surfaces from the get-go. But if I told you that you couldn't have a surface until you did all of this, it wouldn't have worked. I had to make you build the entire thing and cap it and make it a solid before I could show you this. I hope you see the logic behind that there was no way I could have you build this layout first. But when you know how the system works, that's what you do. You draw your outline, you draw your elevation, then you make all these sketches, and you don't make any surfaces ever until you actually have the 3D polys you want. But I just couldn't think of a way to show you how to do that. So I made you build this object so that you would at least basically understand the object, and now we can do stuff with it. And now that you can see what we can do with it, you might appreciate why these layouts and these combined 3D curves are valuable, and you might be willing to start a model like this, even though it will be a long time until you make a surface, and even more time until you get it blended. Now, I hope you don't feel too misled, but this is a tutorial series on how to use the system, not how to make a particular model. So now that we have curves on our main thing, we don't need to be blending so much. This guy is at 0.5. Remember, now my curves run from here to here, so I want to bring this blend back in. I'm going to put it at 0.75, I think is the correct move. Nope, that went in the wrong direction. 0.25. All right, because my system still goes from here. See, I brought it in from 0.25. I still have curve here. And then this guy here, it's at 0.5. I'm going to let it go up to 0.75. See, hey, I'm getting more of this shape back, because now I can really model with these curves, and I don't need to be blending everything. So I'm going to go to 0.875 actually on this side. And on this guy here, instead of 0.25, I'm going to do 0.125. It still works. It is still fine. I really get my curve. You see now that I'm not using the blends to create curved surfaces. Not at all. I sculpt these curved surfaces directly, but the blend system allows me to not worry about having them be perfect to each other, which would be a waste of time. I use all the power these curves have to offer to create the overall shape. I allow these seams to not be perfect, and then I blend them. Look at it. It's silly, right? It's a caricature of a surfboard, but I got what I wanted. Let me look at it from this view. Let's hide this, hide that. Let's only look at the final. This is what I wanted. I have a nice unified curve, and it has a little bit on the tail, a little bit on the front. I think this is enough to design a true foil. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we need more sections to do the real thing. Because right now, I have to share the control points between the shape this way and the shape this way, because this sketch can only set the Z. But this is what I was after. And even if it's not good enough for a true surfboard, it's still a pretty powerful model in and of itself. And remember, we still have a lot to tune on this, and we have a lot of design power left in actually setting the front and back layouts the way we want. We can come back here and make the middle section not so thick. Anyway, hope you like it. Catch you next time. Remember, I give you the model at the end of the episode if you can't be bothered to do all the work. All right, take care.